With a Mars mission profile, you don't have the luxury of choosing how long you stay there, particularly if you have constraints dealing with vehicle performance, where you have only a limited amount of delta V that you can exert during the entire mission. So if you assume that everything's fine, you've gotten to Mars, then you have to look at, well, where is the Earth now that I want to come back? And to get to Mars with any kind of efficiency and low delta V, you need to depart with the Earth behind Mars in their respective orbits around the Sun, so that as you arrive at Mars, the Earth is already past Mars in its lower, faster orbit and is now ahead of Mars. Well, that's not the ideal phase relationship that you need for the return trip. The return trip, ideally, Earth would still be catching up with Mars, still behind it. And so what you find is that you've arrived after you should have left optimally. And this is true of certain NEO mission profiles as well. You're constantly in this force fight between, well, I want to get there later, but to get home quickly or easily, I need to get there earlier. And so there's this constant conflict between the two legs of the mission, the outbound and return leg. And Mars is just a much worse example than many of the NEOs that are highly accessible. So having the luxury of loitering at Mars for months is just not applicable. You actually have to loiter there longer than you would want if you just wanted to stay there for 90 days, let's say. You actually have to loiter there much longer and wait for Earth to pass. It's already passed Mars by. It has to come by again and get almost back to where it was between Mars and the Sun as you arrived. It has to get almost back there again. And remember, that period for the Earth to lap Mars lasts more than 2 years. So that's why you wind up having to stay at Mars. If you can't get out there lickety-split, spend a few days there and come back lickety-split, if you're going to take a conventional kind of trajectory to Mars like robotic probes do, and like is able to deliver the most mass to Mars, which you probably need to do for humans, you wind up having to stay there for more than a year, waiting for Earth to catch up again, but not pass Mars, and then you can leave Mars and head back to Earth in about 8 months. And everything is reasonable in terms of delta V.